Oh, we live in a great area. Are you just back from a camping trip? Don't take your sleeping bags to the dry cleaner. Come to Mount Logan Laundry. For just a few quarters, our 55 or 80-pound washers and 80-pound dryers will have those bags clean for your next trip. Mount Logan Laundry has free Wi-Fi and drop-off service. Plus, they're open until midnight. Mount Logan Laundry really is the cleanest spot in town. Find them at 5th East and 9th North in Logan or in Brigham City on the corner of 1st East and 7th South. Mount Logan Laundry.
Pristine wilderness can still be found in the West, where creeks run freely and historic apple trees still bear fruit. Maple Creek Ranch features breathtaking canyon views and opportunities for real estate development. 2.5-acre lots are now available with adjacent wilderness areas that provide endless riding and recreational possibilities. So find your piece of paradise just 35 minutes from Logan at Maple Creek Ranch. Schedule your appointment online at maplecreekranch.net.
The following is a paid program of commercial time on KVNU. The information, offers, and claims are solely those of the sponsor and not the opinions of this station, its affiliates, management, or employees. It's time for the Garden Guide with your host, Mark Anderson from Anderson Seed and Garden.
New research suggests that people are more likely to eat vegetables if they have a tempting name.
What would life be without a homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
From gardening to landscaping.
Today we are going to try and create garden eyebrows. Kind of like the flowers are sprouting directly from your hair. That makes sense.
Go! Phone lines are open at 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU.
Kind of like eating vegetables.
It's the Garden Guide, now on KVNU 610 AM and 102 FM.
Good morning and welcome to the Garden Guide. This is Mark Anderson with Anderson Seed and Garden, and we're here to answer your questions and hopefully help you solve some garden problems this weekend. And it looks like it's a beautiful day out. We've got maybe some rain showers in the forecast. Have you looked at the forecast, Cody?
I actually just pulled it up. Yeah, we got a 40% chance of rain. Saturday, partly cloudy with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms, and then partly sunny with rain showers likely in the afternoon. So
and
that's pretty good.
Cooler temperatures.
That is wonderful.
And cooler temperatures.
It's been hot.
We are in the 80s for what, the next 3 or 4 days?
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Can't beat that. Can't beat that. So I was out in my garden yesterday picking beans like crazy. So we did a nice row of beans and a new variety called Valentino. And I picked like not even 10 feet of beans.
Mm-hmm.
I got like 50 and had a half a bushel in like 10 feet.
That's great.
So they were just produced like crazy. So we had beans coming out our ears yesterday. And right next to it is my corn, and I just fertilized the corn right before the rainstorm that we got on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Oh, so it was like perfect, and I swear it jumped like 6 inches.
That's awesome.
In one day. It just like whew, took off like crazy.
Our garden just exploded too the last couple of days, which has been fantastic.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Been gathering up cucumbers. We grilled zucchinis the other night. Potatoes are ready. We're digging up potatoes, and they taste amazing. So the garden is just producing like crazy, and tomatoes are coming on too. So we've been picking quite a few ripe tomatoes, and my peppers are starting to color up already. So pretty amazing.
It's good to reap the benefits, to see the
is.
fruit of your labors.
It is after all that work,
right?
And but the only bad thing about the rain coming is the weeds popped up like crazy. And so I water with soaker hoses, so the water's very controlled right where it goes, and so that's the only spot I have to worry about weeding. And now with the rain, there's just like weeds just decide to pop up all over the place. So
it's grasshoppers for
everywhere.
us.
Yeah,
grasshoppers. We need to spray a little bit.
Still dealing with the grasshoppers. So I use the repellent in my garden, and it's been very, very effective.
That's good.
There's like a few little grasshoppers that have popped up that have turned into bigger grasshoppers, but there's just, a handful of them hopping around in my garden where there used to be thousands before. So it's really done a great job at knocking those down. So, and it doesn't bother my bees because I've got a beehive that's like pretty close to right there in my garden, and I've got another one in our orchard, and so I definitely don't want to affect the bees at all. So we've got Great sale going on at Anderson Seed and Garden this weekend. So we've got our trees and like our flowering trees, our shade trees, our evergreens, and our flowering shrubs. They're all on sale for 25%. And we're going to do a kind of a teaser right now because our cash sale is coming up in August. But trees and shrubs, they're 25% off right now. Since you're listening on the radio today, if you come in and mention the cash sale, we'll give you an extra 10% if you pay with cash. And so this is just for Saturday today. You can get an extra 10%, so you can get 35% off instead of 25% if you pay with cash. And so cash is like cash that comes out of your wallet, not a debit card, not a check, not a credit card. You know, the green stuff with presidents on it.
There you go. We had to clarify that.
It's the green stuff with presidents on it. You get an extra 10% off on any trees and shrubs that we've already got on sale for 25% off. So we're going to start a little teaser for the cash sale just to get everybody excited about it, because we usually do that about mid-August. And this is a great opportunity. We just got some new trees in. We've got a great selection of gorgeous shrubs. Everything's looking really good out in the nursery section. We've got shade cloth. We put brand new shade cloth up this year, and it was the perfect year to do it because of how hot it's been. So our plants have continued to look amazing all summer long because of the protection that we give them from all the heat, and they look really good. So they are ready to go. So. But phone lines are open.
Yes, they are.
If you would like to call in with questions or comments, 753-5868, 753-KVNU, or 1-800-369-5868. And we'd love to have you call in and join us here on the Garden Guide. So, but you said you got grasshoppers still.
Grasshoppers, yep. Grasshoppers currently right now, they've turned a little bit bigger, and they're munching not on everything, but the corn especially.
Yeah, they love the corn. They love the corn. And not only do we have grasshoppers affecting the corn, but we have corn earworms that are going to start affecting the corn as well too. So our corn's tasseling. It's got silks on there like crazy. And I planted a new variety that is called Nirvana, which will eventually replace Optimum. And the Nirvana, right now, it is setting 2 to 3 ears per stalk. So it is doing amazing. I'm so excited. I've got pictures of it. And some of these stalks are like just over 6 feet tall, but they have 3 ears forming on them at the same time. So it's actually pretty impressive. But corn earworms are going to be going after the corn as well as the grasshoppers. So for the grasshoppers, we've been talking about 7. We've been talking about Bug Blaster. We've been talking repellents. The repellent actually works really pretty well for the corn earworms too, because it'll get the moths to leave and go somewhere else, so they won't lay their eggs right on your corn. So this would be a good time to get a repellent out there, or an insecticide, depending on which one you want to go with. Or possibly both if you've had trouble both ways. And then we also have the dreaded raccoons that like to get into the corn as well too. So maybe we should talk about some repellent options for the raccoons as well too. But for corn earworms, we want to use, there's a couple different insecticides we can use. Obviously, we can use 7. It's safe to use right up till the day before you harvest on the 7 on the corn. And then I really like the spinosad. The spinosad does a great job. It's totally safe to use, non-toxic for people, non-toxic for beneficial insects, won't hurt pets, but it kills the caterpillar larvae as they hatch out and then follow the silks right down into the corn. And so if you see earwigs on your corn, that's a great indicator you've got other insects nibbling on your corn. So the earwigs really don't, they'll get in there and they'll damage the corn eventually, but it's actually other insects that are doing it, and they're after the other insects. So it's kind of interesting. But we do have a caller. We do have lines open.
Yes, we do.
753-5868, 753-KVNU, or 1-800-369-5868. So who's our first caller, Cody?
First caller is Todd, and I have a ton of people on the phone. I will get to you, I promise. But we'll get Todd on the line here first. Here's Todd.
Great. Good morning, Todd.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing all right.
Doing great. Hey, listen, with all this hype about your garden doing so well, I went outside the other day and checked on my box gardens because I haven't been able to do that lately. Something has attacked my raspberry patch, and it is deader than a doornail.
Like the canes just like shriveled up and died?
Well, it's not shriveled up. It's basically dried up. The canes have all dried up, and you know they don't curl over like I've showed you in the past.
Right. Where you had cane borers before, and then the tops would just kind of curl over.
We had the cane borer, and then I sprayed spinosad because I did take a sample into years ago with the spider mites.
Yeah.
And I went out there and I go, are you kidding me? Because everything else was plush around it, and I don't know.
How many canes?
Like
how many canes are you talking? How many canes? Like, is it like the whole patch, or just got a couple here and there?
We're talking the whole patch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Without seeing them, I can't tell you for sure, but there is a crown borer instead of a cane borer that will kill the canes just very quickly in the middle of the summer. Excuse me. And the crown borers don't attack the canes up by the top. They actually attack them right where they come out of the ground. And so there's a possibility you've got crown borer, and they can kill an entire patch of raspberries in just a few weeks. And so
because like one day a couple of canes would be damaged or whatever.
Yeah.
Then like a week later, I went out and the whole patch was just gone.
Down. Usually what will happen is down close to the ground, the canes will turn brown and dry and brittle. Are they brittle?
That's what it is. That's exactly what it looks like.
Break off? Like they break off fairly easy if you grab them. So you may have had crown borer. With the crown borers, they do enough damage to the crowns of the raspberries, you don't get a lot of new growth back. And so in some cases, you just got to replant the raspberries and then treat them for crown borer. Usually we'll do it first thing in the spring with like permethrin or bifenthrin, and then again around the first part of July. That's kind of when they become active.
Well, that's interesting because last year we had a nice enough crop,
a bumper crop of raspberries.
Then this year is gone.
It is not unusual for the crown borers to take out a whole section of raspberries in just one season.
And it's interesting. I went from one box garden to another, and our squash are going game busters.
Yes.
And then our peas didn't do so good.
No, my peas were the pits this year. Yeah.
And then
mine were bad too.
Our beets and carrots didn't do good either.
My carrots are going crazy. They haven't really gotten a lot of size to them, but the beets have been really good. But a lot of the early cold crops, peas and spinach and lettuce and radishes, it turned so hot so fast the 1st of June. They just stopped. And
they stopped and went to seed.
Yep, my peas were doing amazing all the way through May, and they looked awesome. And it's just like, oh man, the peas are going to be amazing. And they just stopped with the heat. They were done. So
So, and the thing is I've heard from you and from many other people that you try to switch up locations of where you put your seeds every year.
I do. I move my plants around. I rotate.
Yeah, so they're not in the same place like year after year.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So, well, there's the alternative. Maybe I won't do a garden next year. Just kidding.
That is always an alternative, Todd. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But I just wanted to ask you if there was a solution to that or whatever.
Yeah, without seeing them, I would suspect they are crown borers. And they've done some serious damage. So if you dig down in and pull a couple canes out with the root system attached, you'll probably see some damage right there where the roots turn into the canes, and you'll see that they've kind of munched on those.
All right. Well, I'll bring some samples into you on Monday.
Okay, that sounds great.
Sounds good.
All right. Hey, thanks.
All righty, that's all I have for you.
Thanks for calling this morning, Todd. You have a wonderful weekend.
You as well.
All
Thanks,
right.
Cody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, that frees up some phone lines, 753-5868, 753-KVNU, or 1-800-369-5868. We both have allergy stuff going on.
Yeah, mine's like a sore throat kind of dealio, but allergies did kick my butt too this spring. Wow. it got me bad for about like a month and a half.
There you go.
I was down for the count.
There was something right before that rain on Wednesday that I got into, and my nose just started just running like crazy.
Oof.
And it has like not quite gone away, but it's like pretty close.
No good.
Getting close.
No good. Yep. Like Mark said, I'm here to take your phone call. We had an awesome moment. Ooh, we're getting another one. Had an awesome moment where I had like 4 at once.
Yes.
And then time ran out and they all kind of like left. And I'm like, no, come back. So I am here for you, and I will get your phone call.
There we go. All right. We were talking corn earworms, so we're talking spinosad, 7, and the repellent. Great time to fertilize the corn as well too. So I do mine 3 times when it is about 12 inches tall, and I've got my new crop that I planted 2 weeks ago is already 8 inches tall, so it's really going. And I fertilized it this week as well. But at 8 to 10 inches tall, at about 3 feet tall, and then when it tassels, and those are like your perfect timing for fertilizing the corn. So we do ours 3 times, and that's why it's producing multiple ears per stalk. And we are going to put a repellent out this week for raccoons too, since they wiped out our corn last year. Yeah,
those rascals.
How rude! Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, how rude. Okay, we got another phone call.
Yep,
Cody.
Yes, we do. Here's Lori.
All right. Good morning, Laurie. Welcome to the Garden Guide.
Good morning. Hey, I have a question. I've got a banana squash that I've planted. It's doing great. It has beautiful foliage and everything, but it has yet to set up any fruit. So I don't know what's going on or why it's not.
But you've got lots of blossoms, but no fruit set.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. When the squash really get going and they first start putting out flowers, they will put out predominantly male flowers. And the male flowers have a little bit longer stem on them, and they don't have like a little tiny fruit near the bottom of the blossom. But that's where the bees come in and pick up the pollen, then move it over to the female flowers and pollinate those, and then the fruit sets. And so it has been really, really hot. And so a lot of times the blossoms will close up in the heat before the bees get in there and move that pollen. So it could be a couple different things. Your plant could be predominantly producing male flowers, but it'll switch over. All of a sudden it'll start kicking out female flowers. Or since it has been so hot, your flowers have been fading before the bees get in there and pollinate as well too. So I was a little concerned about some of my pumpkins and squashes. They weren't really doing anything. And then I went out last night. All of a sudden, there's fruits set all over the place. And so you just be a little bit patient, and it should be setting fruit like crazy. You can use a blossom set on the plants if you'd like. So there's a tomato and pepper set that you use for tomatoes and peppers to get them to start setting fruit. We can use the same thing on the squashes as well too to get them to set fruit. And so it's an all natural combination of a lot of different natural growth hormones and nutrients to get the plant to really set fruit. And we've had some really great results with that when the plants are not cooperating properly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One more question. My son lives in Vernal, and he was complaining that they keep having worms in their corn. What can he do to prevent those worms?
Right. So it's a moth that comes in, and they land on the silks of the corn, and then they lay their eggs right there on the silks. And then as the larvae hatch out, they will follow the silks right down into the corn, right into the ear, and then they'll start nibbling on the corn. And so when the silks are forming, that's when you want to treat for the corn earworms. And if he wants to use a natural insecticide, the best one is spinosad. So the spinosad or the spinosad soap will do an amazing job. Totally safe to use, like right up to the minute that you're going to harvest. And all you got to do is just spray the silks. So you just walk up and down the rows, spray the silks. You don't have to spray the whole corn. Just spray the silks where they're forming on the ears. And as the larvae hatch out, they'll come in contact with the spinosad, and it will kill them. And super, super easy to do. Won't hurt beneficial insects. And mine are really lots of silk, lots of pollen falling off the corn. And I'm gonna do mine this weekend, just to make sure we don't have critters nibbling on my corn. Not
So
fan.
how often do you need to do that spinosad soap?
It lasts about 7 to 10 days. And so usually once, maybe twice, and you are in great shape.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'll let him know then.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. And we've got, like, last year was the first year in many years we had raccoons that just like decimated our corn. And I was just I was amazed at how much corn they ate. I mean, it was like 3 50-foot rows, and in 1 or 2 nights they just basically stripped the whole thing, and there was just like cobs all over the place, and I just couldn't believe how much they ate. And so this is the time to get a repellent out there. We've also got a trap, so we've got a live trap, so we're going to try and catch some of them if they come back for more snacks. But I'm going to get a repellent out there as well too to try and keep them away. So
Well, we have to put an electric fence up, or we're toast. So.
Yep, and that works quite well also. They found a way to
Okay,
crawl
well, I
underneath my
appreciate
fence. Yeah. Oh, you're so welcome, Laurie. You're so welcome. Anytime.
Thank you.
Yep. Have a great one. And
You too.
good luck with your corn and your banana squash.
Okay, thank you.
All right. We'll see you.
Bye.
All right. We've got a few minutes before we reach the bottom of the hour. We've got some phone lines open. If you'd like to call in with questions or comments, 753-5868, 753-KVNU, or 1-800-369-5868. And I will remind you that we do have trees, flowering and shade trees and evergreens and all of our flowering shrubs and deciduous shrubs. They are on sale for 25% off right now at Anderson's. We have a great selection. But just for today only, for those of you who are listening to the radio show, if you come in and mention the cash sale that's going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks, we'll give you an extra 10% off your trees or shrubs today if you pay with cash. So you get that extra 10% if you pay with cash. You know, green bills with presidents on them is what we're talking about. Not debit cards, not credit cards. It has to be cash. But we'll give you an extra 10% on top of the 25, so you get a 35% discount instead of the 25. So you get it for a third off instead of a quarter off.
What a deal.
Yeah.
What a deal.
It is a great deal.
Mark, as you were talking, a question came to my head that I felt like I wanted to ask you. This year, what, in your opinion, what has been kind of the surprise challenge to our friends and our listeners growing a garden this year that maybe you didn't quite expect happening?
That's a great question. Every year there seems to be a different challenge.
It does seem like that.
It's always a different challenge. This year, I would say most people have dealt with grasshoppers, and so the grasshoppers have been very difficult. But also with the heat, it's been really hard on some of the plants. But other plants have really, really liked the heat.
Thrived in the heat.
Yeah, they've thrived. And so, tomatoes and peppers, they like it when it's miserable at night.
Mm-hmm.
When it is like 80 degrees at night and you can't sleep because it's like so hot and you have to leave the air conditioner on all night and close the windows up, that's when the peppers and the tomatoes really go crazy. And so I've got like more peppers that are like changing color right now. And it's not even the 1st of August.
Mm-hmm.
They are maturing very quickly and rapidly, and so it's great for those. But other plants have really struggled. So the cold crops, it was really difficult for those. And if you're not being consistent with your watering, cucumbers have been bitter. So they haven't been as good. Mine have been awesome, but I'm watering them good and heavy, like about every 3 or 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
But I have had one section where the sun sticks on them a little bit longer than one area, and they'll just get kind of wilty. And so I've had to watch for that a little bit more. So the heat has definitely been a challenge on some of the vegetables, and grasshoppers.
Heat and grasshoppers. That's kind of the two that I've seen on my garden, especially. But this was my first year, so I thought it was like a normal occurrence. And I'm sure like every so often we're going to get extra heat, extra grasshoppers.
Now, last summer, it was a cool summer. Mm-hmm. And so every night, we were like in the high 50s every night. So it would cool down when the sun would go down every night. And it was just like really cold. And so I don't remember like ever having to run my air conditioner at night last year, maybe 2 nights the whole summer.
Wow.
And this year it's been like almost every night.
Thinking that you only have to run it twice in the summer is quite a dream now.
It's a dream, yeah. But the plants did not respond as well last year. So tomatoes and peppers took forever to ripen. And a lot of my squashes were like, they took forever to ripen. And so I think it was like the end of August by the time we finally got our first cantaloupe. And I'm thinking we might have a cantaloupe that's ripe and ready to pick like next weekend.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so it's like almost 2 to 3 weeks earlier that stuff is maturing than last year, and the tomatoes are ripening up faster, and the peppers are ripening up like crazy, and so the plants are doing really well compared to last year. But last year my peas were unbelievable. Like we had like so many peas, we didn't know what to do with them all. So you just never know.
You never know. That was the peas are what I was excited for, but they didn't really turn out super great. Yeah. Melons are super exciting for me. It's so fun to see once they start to run. And you see it just like envelop the garden. You're like, crazy. So happy.
So a couple of my watermelon plants did not do so well, but one of them's going gangbusters.
That's awesome.
But I did 5 hills of cantaloupes and put the weed barrier down for them too, because they the fruit just ripens better with the weed barrier down. And I did a new variety that's called Atlantis. We're going to try it and see how it goes. It's supposed to be really, really good. And then I planted some Burpees ambrosia, which we've done for the last couple of years, really, really good. So I'm excited for that. But they are going crazy.
That's awesome.
Like lots of fruit set, and they're ripening really fast. I've got one that's like netted already. So that's what I'm saying. It's like next weekend.
You're getting there.
It's like, we might have cantaloupes
That's
next
exciting.
weekend. Yeah,
that's exciting.
It is. So we are at the bottom of the hour.
Yes, we are.
Do you want to take a little break?
Yes,
No?
I would love to.
Phone lines are open. We've had a couple callers, but we've got room for a lot more. 753 5868 753 KVNU or 1-800-369-5868. And we'll be back right after these messages.
I'm Will Feelright with your KVNU News Update. It's brought to you by Adams Wealth Advisors. Well, law enforcement, families, and members of the community gathered Thursday night for the Cache County Sheriff's Office truck pull. The charity event was organized to raise money for Special Olympics Utah. Deputy Helene Salanoa was the organizer of the event, held north of the Cache Valley Mall. She said that when she heard the idea of the unique physical challenge, she wanted to bring it to Cache Valley again.
So you need a team of 10 people to pull a semi-truck 10 yards. Every team has the opportunity to go twice, and then the team with the best times win.
6 teams competed in the event, including multiple law enforcement groups, Utah State football players, and Special Olympics supporters. Most of them were able to move the truck from start to finish in around 8 seconds. The Aggie football players took first place with a time of 7.2 seconds, while members of Salanoa's extended family earned second place with a time of 7.6 seconds. And the Boise Police Department says that officers removed flags emblazoned with the emblem of the neo-fascist Proud Boys organization after someone hung them from several overpasses in Boise. Police spokesperson Haley Williams told the Idaho Statesman that officers removed the flags last weekend. It wasn't immediately clear who hung up the flags along Interstate 84, but Williams said anyone with information about it should contact the police department. The Proud Boys are considered a hate group by organizations like the Anti-Defamation League and also the Southern Poverty Law Center. Proud Boys members describe themselves as a politically incorrect men's club for Western chauvinists. Well, weather forecast-wise, we are looking at more scattered showers and thunderstorms expected over the next few days as daytime temperatures through the weekend staying right around the mid to low 90s. Overnight temperatures are going to stay right around the low 60s. I'm Will Feelright for KVNU News.
From ABC Sports, I'm Derek Dennis. At the Tokyo Games, American Caleb Dressel continued to prove why he is one of the world's top swimmers. The 24-year-old Florida native broke his own world record to win his 3rd gold medal at the Tokyo Olympics in the men's 100-meter butterfly. And after dropping her first 2 individual matchups with Australian rival Ariane Titmus, Katie Ledecky held on to win her 3rd straight 800-meter freestyle. Citing ongoing mental health concerns, American gymnast Simone Biles has pulled out of 2 individual finals. ABC's Jim Ryan is in Tokyo.
She's already stepped away from the gymnastics team competition and the all-around here at Tokyo. Now Simone Biles said she's skipping the finals for vault and the uneven bars. The 24-year-old blames what she and other gymnasts call the twisties. Her brain and her body, she says, are simply not in sync. She fears getting hurt if she competes.
Michaela Skinner will replace Biles on the vault. This is ABC.
All right, Taylor, you got your cowboy hat?
Check.
Horse?
Already saddled.
Horse trailer?
Of course.
What about your boots?
Still got my pink ones.
What about trucks, Taylor? I'm not seeing very many trucks on our lot at West Motor. I don't want to hear back-ordered, postponed, out-of-stock, microchip shortage, or any of that crap. I want to hear something positive.
I can do that. Hold on to your bootstraps, because it's time for the famous West Motor Rodeo Day sale.
It's no secret that inventory is limited, but the quickest and best way to get your new Ram truck is to have one built especially for you. Get the features you want, the equipment you need, and the right color without paying for anything that you don't want. We'll throw in some big discounts, and Ram will build that truck just the way you like it.
That's what we do around here. We find solutions.
Simply come into West Motor Company in Preston, and we'll get your new Ram truck ordered and send you home with a couple of our famous West Motor Rodeo jackets.
West Motor, how the West was won. WestMotorCompany.com.
Girls, us guys are always trying to score some brownie points, but we need all the help we can get. So dropping some subtle hints is helpful, such as your favorite food is Italian, you love the color green, and you want the ring from Jarek's Fine Jewelry, the place with the bright green cars on 930 North Main Street. Okay, so it might not be so subtle, but that's okay. Remember, we need the help. Make it special, make it Jarek's. Now remember, just tell him it's the place with the bright green cars.
Looking for home improvement ideas? Look no further than the Logan Home Show, going on this Friday and Saturday at the Cache County Event Center at the County Fairgrounds in Logan. See the latest in home decor, remodeling, design, and home automation. Admission and parking are free. Enjoy live cooking demonstrations and tour local and national vendors. Bring the whole family for a fun-filled day. The Logan Home Show at the Cache County Event Center at the County Fairgrounds in Logan. It's going on right now, this Friday and Saturday. Learn more at loganhomeshow.com.
The expert with a green thumb. It's the Garden Guide on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
All right, we are back here at the Garden Guide. Cody and Mark Anderson, we are having a blast.
Yes, we are.
Talking about all kinds of different things.
I always get Mark off topic when we're off air, but we'll keep on air.
That's okay, though. We got to have something to talk about.
That's true. So it's true.
I gotta have something to talk about. Did you go fishing at all this week?
This week I did. I actually went fishing yesterday, but we got ran off of Hiram because of all the water skiers. But
yes.
we had a good time.
Yeah.
Caught a couple bass. It was a good time.
And there's still water out there.
Still water. 2 weeks ago, I went to Newton and finally caught my tiger muskie that everybody wants so bad.
There you go.
That was super fun.
So you were excited about that.
I was I was elated, over the moon.
Well, we get a little bit more rain, especially some torrential rains like we have had, and maybe the lake will come up a little bit.
Maybe.
So, yeah.
Maybe.
Get quite a bit. I heard that there was 2 inches of rain in Hiram the other day on Wednesday. I had a half an inch at my house.
I see.
Yeah, so that was not too bad. We've got a nice, very accurate weather station. And so we were really close to a half inch. And then we got, yesterday morning, got another, almost a 15th of an inch. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not an expert.
I'm not a 15th, but
I'm not an expert, but I believe probably any moisture that we can get is probably going to help.
Yes, there you go.
Anything can help. Not just the garden, but everything, facets of life.
Yeah, there you go. And the cool temperatures, the rain, it's like I haven't had to water my garden since, Wednesday, which is kind of nice to get that little break. So if we keep getting a few little storms here and there, that just means we can go for a week without having to water. So turn the sprinklers off on my lawn, turn the water system off on the garden, and you go a couple extra days and get a few more rainstorms, a couple more days. All of a sudden we've gone a week without even having to water at all. So it's nice.
It's nice relief.
Yeah. So if you're listening, make sure that when we get a half an inch of rain or more, that's one full application that you don't have to do. So you can just forego watering at that point and let it go a little bit longer without having to water. So that'll provide some water for our farmers for a little bit longer as well too, which is great. So at Anderson's, we've got a whole bunch of things going on. The midweek market, the Wednesday market, has been going since the middle part of May, and it is getting more and more. More vendors are showing up. There's more food there. There's more people coming. It's really a lot of fun. And then they've got the Twilight concert series going on in the evening as well too. So there's always something fun going on Center Street. on Wednesdays. But if you haven't been down Center Street, you've got to just drive down Center Street because the flowers are in bloom. We've got hanging baskets all over the place. All the planters are blooming, and it looks amazing. So it's just a great place to hang out. There's some great places to go and eat, and it's just a fun place to be on Center Street, and that's where Anderson Seed and Garden is. And this weekend we are doing a sale on our trees and shrubs. So we've got shade trees, flowering trees, evergreens, flowering shrubs, and deciduous shrubs. They're all on sale for 25% off right now. And if you come in today and mention that you heard it on the radio, we will give you an extra 10% discount if you pay with cash. So this is kind of like our teaser to get people excited about the cash sale. It's coming up in August. And if you pay with cash, that means, green bills with presidents on them. If you pay with cash, you get an extra 10% discount off of the 25. So you'll get a 35% discount on trees and shrubs today. So it's just today. And next week, they'll still be 25% off. But today, you'll get the extra 10 if you listen to the radio show. So just for listening to the radio show, you always get little incentives to come and see us at Anderson's. So that should work out great. Phone lines are open. 753-5868, 753-KVNU, or 1-800-369-5868. So call in. We've got phone lines open. We will answer questions and hopefully help you find solutions for your garden. Cody's over there answering the phone right now. So like I said, we've got phone lines open, and we'd love to have you join us here on the Garden Guide. We've been talking insects so far in the show. We've talked corn earworms. We've been talking about cane borers in the raspberries, and lots of insects popping up. Grasshoppers have been problematic, but we're starting to see hobo spiders. So I've had the first kind of wave of customers start coming in saying that they've got spiders showing up down in their basement. And so the hobo spiders and the aggressive house spiders are starting to become active. And it's usually end of July, first part of August that they will do that. So just be aware that this is a good time to start putting traps out so you can monitor the activity in your house. If you need to, you can do a little bit of spraying. I like to do a little bit of both. So I put the traps out. When I start catching spiders in the traps, then I know it's time to start spraying as well too. I've got some really safe insecticides you can use indoors as well as out that will give you 2 to 3 to even 4 months residual, and anybody that crawls through it will take care of. So spiders, ants, earwigs, millipedes, any insects that are crawling around in your basement, in your crawl space, we can get those under control. So Seismic is my go-to insecticide. No smell, no stain, safe to use, super effective, and it lasts for 3 to 4 months. So it's a great product, especially for aggressive house spiders and hobo spiders to prevent them from setting up shop in your house. So works out great. Phone lines are open, 753-5868, 753-KVNU. And Cody, who's our next caller?
We have Christine on the phone.
All right. Good morning, Christine. Welcome to the Garden Guide.
Oh, thank you, Mark. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right today.
Okay, I have a question. I went into the store, and one of your employees sold me Easy. Is that how you pronounce it? Because I have some strawberries in a container and a basket full of flowers, and I've noticed the water's still running through on my flowers.
They sold you Easy Wet. Was it the Easy Wet?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And the Easy Wet won't just absorb every drop of water. It should run out the bottom. But what it's going to do is it's going to condition the soil so that when you water it, it doesn't just immediately go right out the bottom. It absorbs it and holds it a lot better. And so what the Easy Wet does is it changes the polarity of the water. Water and soil actually repel each other. And so until there's enough water around the soil, it won't hydrate. And as hot as it's been, the soil is drying out really quickly. And when the soil's really dry like that, it won't absorb the water. And so what the Easy Wet does is it changes the polarity of the water so that when the water comes into contact with the soil, it's very attractive to it. And so it pulls the water right down into the soil, and it will hydrate your planters, and it will hydrate your hanging baskets thoroughly all the way through before it starts to run out the bottom. And so once your water does start running out the bottom, usually that's an indicator that your pot is full. But if the soil is really dry, it will find a way around the outside of the pot. You know, the like when the soil gets really dry, it will kind of shrink a little bit, and it will pull away from the sides of the pot. It leaves a little gap there between the soil and the pot. The water will just immediately run down that gap and out the bottom. And if you're watering, you go, oh, it must be. Must be full of water because it's all running out the bottom, and it doesn't happen that way. The Easy Wet will help prevent that from happening.
So he told me to use it every week or every other week. So
Right.
I just put it in a 10-gallon thing and put a couple of tablespoons in it and dump it in.
And then water the plants with it. We use a tablespoon and 2 gallons of water, and I'll do it about every 10 days to 2 weeks. And it binds to the soil, and so then every day when you're watering, it will make your water work much more effectively. You won't have to use as much to hydrate the soil up, and it will retain it a lot longer so your plants don't struggle as much in the heat.
Okay, let me write this down. I'm a writer.
Yeah. So
I need somebody to make all my notes. So 2 tablespoons for how many gallons?
1 tablespoon in 2 gallons.
Oh, well, I'm not giving it enough.
Yeah, so 1 tablespoon in 2 gallons of water.
So just do the 2 gallons of water.
Yeah, but you can do
more.
you could do more. If you wanted to do your 10 gallons, you just put 5 tablespoons in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So it was looking really pretty and flowery, but I don't know if the heat has killed it but it's not flowering like it used to, and I've been fertilizing it with Bloom and Root.
Yeah, blooming and rooting.
And then the one that's for all-purpose plant food.
Yes.
Will it come back, or have I got that bug that's eating all my petunias?
You might have the tobacco budworms, because I've got a couple hanging baskets at the store that we're like nursing back to health, and the tobacco budworms got in there, and the plant looks amazing. It's like green and lush and beautiful. It has no flowers on it, and so we had a couple that they snuck in there. We treat ours about every 2 weeks, every 10 days to 2 weeks. We treat them for the tobacco budworms because they will eat all the blossoms right off the plant until there's like nothing left. And so once you get those tobacco budworms under control, it will bloom again like crazy. So
use that liquid, what is it, that some kind of soap is what
you
I
could
have.
use the spinosad soap. You could use just the plain spinosad. You could use Sevin. You could use systemic insecticide. There's a whole lot of insecticides that would work very effectively on the tobacco budworms. It's just like do it once a week for a couple of weeks to really get it under control.
So are you keeping track of all the questions everybody asks you so we can remember in the future?
I remember
when we come?
I remember all of them, every one of them.
It's amazing.
Yes.
It's amazing how he remembers all of them, Christine.
But what you can do is we are recording all the radio shows, and so they put them on the website, at the KVNU website, and you can go back and you can listen to all those podcasts. So we're podcasting every single show. And so you can go back and you can listen to those. I know Todd does that all the time. So Todd's like going back and listening to those. And then I'm consistently doing videos on the Valley channel, but we take those videos and we put them onto our website as well, too. So it shows you how to do a lot of this stuff. So last week we did some, and I showed... we were out in the garden, and I showed how to like protect the plants from grasshoppers. I showed how to install tomato cages. This week we're doing one on how to make your tomatoes grow like crazy. So we're always adding videos to our website. So there's some great resources there as well.
Okay. I was going to tell you, as you was talking about different bugs, I thought you ought to get some bugs like the aphids, because I tried that Spinosa soap. It wouldn't touch them, but the aphids, they cleaned it up really good. And my daughter lives in Vernal.
You mean the ladybugs? Did you get ladybugs?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The ladybugs.
The ladybugs ate the aphids. Yes, the ladybugs.
And my daughter lives out in Vernal, and she had tons of them. And she went and bought the container full, and then her and her daughter put them in a thing and just watched them. She was fascinated by them.
Oh, it's so much fun, yeah. So we bring in
Yeah.
we bring in ladybugs, we bring in lacewings, and we also bring in praying mantis egg sacs. And
I got
and
tons
so
of praying mantis.
yeah, so it's really really fascinating to watch them do their work. And each one of those little ladybugs, they can eat up to 50 aphids a day, and so they have voracious appetites. Yeah.
Let's find something that'll eat the rest of the bugs so we don't have to buy so many chemicals.
The lacewings actually work on more insects, and they're more likely to stick around in your yard, and they are the coolest looking insects ever. So the lacewings are fun.
Do you have any of those?
Not anymore. Yeah, we ran out. We ran out the end of June, but the praying mantis, they'll eat anything that's smaller than they are. So you get a bunch of those running around the yard. They will clean up insects like crazy. And as the praying mantis get bigger, they'll actually eat grasshoppers. So they'll eat the
someone
grasshoppers.
said that the wild bees that we don't like, no, not the regular bees, but the other bees, they will go after the grasshoppers too.
There could be some parasitic wasps that will infect those as well too. That would be great.
That's what I heard. Oh, well, I could talk to you about 100 things, but I better share the radio with somebody else.
There we go. There we go. All right, Christine, thank you so much.
I appreciate all your information.
Oh, you're so welcome.
You're welcome.
Yep. Thanks
Have
for
a
calling
great
this
day.
morning. You too. All right.
Bye.
All right. If we've got phone lines open, about 10 minutes left in the show. 753-5868, 753-KVNU. And we have another caller. Who's next, Cody?
Yes, we do. Here's Marcia.
All right. Good morning, Marcia. Welcome to the Garden Guide.
Good morning, Mark. First of all, I just wanted to compliment you on the amazing job you have done with Logan City, making it more beautiful. Your flowers
thank you
are
so much.
fabulous, and what a treat it is to just drive past them and wish they are so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Oh,
for your hard work and time.
you are so welcome. We're so welcome. And it has taken a little bit of time to make that happen. So we had to kind of replace some of the soil in the planters this year because the soil they put in last year was just like too heavy and it kind of suffocated the plants. So this spring, after we took the pansies out, we like put another 6 or 8 inches of new soil in there and like reconditioned the soil and then planted. And we had a few people complain when we first planted because they thought that it was really sparse, and it was. We plant a little bit farther apart than most people do, and so it looks a little sparse when you first plant. But I was just like, just give it 2 or 3 weeks, they'll be just fine. And then all of a sudden, after 2 weeks, it's like everything is just like filled right in like crazy. So
I can't imagine anybody would complain. Oh my gosh, what a lot of hard work! It's so beautiful.
Yep,
Thank you.
Oh, you are welcome. You're so welcome.
Second of all, I just need to ask you about beans. The deer have had a heyday, and I finally got enough netting and fencing around it. They've eaten the leaves, and I noticed they like the blossoms better than the beans, but of course the blossoms turn into beans.
Yep.
And I do have more blossoms coming. Is the heat been just such a factor? I usually have many more beans than I have had this year so far.
You know what? The heat can be problematic. Some varieties handle the heat a little bit better than others, but we are seeing a lot of spider mites. So make sure you kind of watch for spider mites. They'll make the leaves go kind of speckly at first, and then they'll start to turn brown and go crispy. And they will definitely slow the production of the beans down, so they don't produce nearly as many as they ought to. That's good that you've got more flowers coming on the beans. I know last year we had the deer sneak through our fence, and they just like massacred our beans. But this year I've been more diligent and made sure and plugged up all the holes. And so we haven't had nocturnal visitors nibbling on the beans this year, so mine went crazy. So I planted a new variety that is called Valentino, and we've never planted it before. It's brand new, and it'll be great if you want to bottle beans like crazy because it just set beans like insane, and we picked them and picked and literally at 50 feet, and I've probably picked at least 2 bushel off of the 50 feet. Yeah. Just in like 2 pickings.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I do the Blue Lake pole beans.
Yeah.
Because I don't love the bending as bad.
Yes.
But I really, yeah. Usually by now I've been able to bottle a lot more than I have this year, and it's of course you can't get lids. That's a real problem.
Right.
But I'm hoping
I think
that
the pull
I'll still
beans.
get some.
I think the pull beans are a little slow to get going this year because it was hot, and so now with a little bit cooler temperatures, I think they'll go like crazy. And as the pull beans go, once they start setting, they just set like mad until it freezes. And so I think you're going to get tons of beans. They'll go
and
crazy.
what do you put on the spider mites?
For the spider mites, you can do malathion. You can do triple action from Fertilome, and the triple action you can use right up to the day of harvest. So it's very safe to use, but it'll be very effective on the spider mites. The spinosad soap works on those also. And right now where the beans are starting to flower, it'd be a really good time to fertilize them. So you could do either a liquid fertilizer and just water them with it, or you could do a granulated fertilizer and sprinkle it on the ground around them, and then water it. But we want something.
Just 20-20-20?
Yeah, just a balanced fertilizer would be great. But as they're starting to produce, perfect time to fertilize them and get them going.
Great.
So.
All right. Thanks so much again.
Oh, thank you, Marcia. I appreciate the compliment. Thank you.
Oh, it's awesome.
I'll pass that on.
It.
I'll pass that on to my wife because she's the one that designed the beds this year, and it was very stressful. Yeah, it was very stressful because it's the first time she'd done that, and they were new planters, and so trying to figure out what's going to fit, what's going to look nice, and so it was pretty stressful for her. But they have turned out so beautiful. So thank you.
Just you give her a hug. It is
sure
awesome. I love it. Thank you.
Thanks, Marcia.
Bye.
Have a great weekend. All right. Okay, we've got 5 minutes left in the show, so we could take one more caller.
It's very possible.
We could take one more caller. So what else did we talk about in the break, Cody, that we had mentioned that we should talk about? Lawn insects.
That's what we were talking about.
Yes. So slow start to the season for lawn insects, so grubs and billbugs. But all of a sudden, we're starting to see billbugs like crazy, and haven't seen too many grubs, but we've seen lots of billbugs, and they've done damage throughout July. But we're starting to see sod webworm moths showing up as well too. So this is a prime time for applying an insecticide that will last for the next couple months. So Grub Free Zone from High Yield will do a great job, and I really like the Bug Blaster Plus from High Yield also. And the Bug Blaster Plus will give you a contact as well as a systemic long residual insecticide, so it'll last for about 3 months, where the Grub Free Zone is just the systemic insecticide. So anybody that comes along and nibbles on the grass, it will kill them as they eat the grass. So it works great for billbugs, it works great for grubs, and especially for sod webworm as well too. But now's the time to put it on. Generally, we're recommending the second application right around Pioneer Day, around the 24th of July. And so just we're just barely a week after that. So perfect time to get that on, especially if you've had problems in the past with sod webworms showing up late in the season. So those moths are out laying their eggs right now. They won't hatch for a month, so it'll be September before those eggs really hatch and they start to do damage. So we want to get our preventative insecticide on right now so that the insecticide is working at peak effectiveness when those eggs start to hatch and the larvae start to nibble on the grass about the first part of September. So this is definitely the time to do that. So any other questions, Cody, you can think of?
Wow. Well, I mean,
well, we only have a couple of minutes left.
I know.
So.
Well, I think the one thing that I want to say is I wish everyone the moisture that's being promised in the forecast, because I think it will be wonderful. It doesn't look like anything's coming from my window right here.
Not right now, but
hopefully later on.
I think later this afternoon we're looking like we've got a good chance of storm again. So that's good. And that would be really nice to get another half inch of rain.
That would be wonderful.
That would give us our whole quota of July rain in 3 days.
That's right. Mark, you got probably a minute and a half for words of wisdom.
Okay.
What kind of things do you want to tell us?
Definitely want to remind everyone to come down. Our trees and shrubs are on sale this weekend. We do have some really nice perennials in stock as well, too. And I think the perennials are on sale also. But flowering trees, shade trees, evergreens, flowering shrubs, deciduous shrubs, they're all on sale for 25% off. And which is a great deal for right now. They look great. We've had them under the shade cloth. We've taken care of those all summer. They look amazing. But if you mention that you heard on the radio today about the cash sale, we will give you an extra 10% discount off of those trees and shrubs. And you have to pay cash, though. So you got to pay with green bills with presidents on them. And no debit cards to get that extra discount. No credit cards to get the extra discount. You have to pay cash to get the extra 10%. If you're okay with just the 25%, then you can pay for it however you want. But to get the extra 10, you got to do the cash. And so our special clearance sale incentive, it will give you extra 10% when you pay with cash on the trees and shrubs and plants that we're starting to move out for fall. So, but a lot of things happening at Anderson's. I've got a great crew there today to help you with your garden problems, help you figure out which insects are nibbling on your plants. And we'll be there all Saturday to take care of you. And we'll be back again next week with another edition of The Garden Guide.
Breaking news, stimulating talk.
The biggest problem we have is ignorance.
KVNU Logan, 610 AM and 102.1